At this point, I'm literally begging you to hop on this Outbound train because honestly, it's just overpowered. Right now, with this Outbound template that I'm gonna show you and that I'm honestly gonna focus on in 2025, I'm booking 5 calls a day. Purely cold Outbound campaign. No ads whatsoever, just cold outbound. Yeah, of course, the truth is that you need a killer setter who would do it consistently, but if you already have one, show him this video or just learn it yourself because honestly, it's not that hard. And even though 2024 ended like, so today is 3rd of February, it ended like 35 days ago or so. These messages that 99.9% of these uneducated either setters or coaches, agency owners are sending when sending cold outbound campaign is, would you be opposed to XYZ thing, or would you be opposed to hearing more about how I can do this? Honestly, it's just too saturated. Yeah, the truth is that conditional language is still a proper way, conditional language such as these opposed things, but not opposed specifically because like I've said, everyone is using that. Even some random Indian editors are using that one. So that's already enough of a proof of how saturated it is. But when it comes to conditional things such as those ones that I covered in the last video, might potentially, possibly, yeah, you definitely should use that. But with this template that I'm gonna show you today, it's inevitable for you, if you use it properly, of course, it's inevitable for you to just start booking 5 calls a day the same way I'm doing currently. And I can only imagine what's gonna happen in the rest of 2025 because quite frankly, I'm not planning on stopping this outbound train because it's just golden. It's just golden, I can't lie. But the very first thing, obviously, that you need to do is target your ICP. That's something that me and my boy Jamie are currently doing. And if you don't want to stay broke in 2025, just implement these few things because, yeah, you're definitely gonna stay broke if you don't do it. However, ICP, this is something that I call 5-star network. 5-star network. And the point is, that's pretty logical, but like we already established, Alex Hormozy says that the key is in basics. That's where all these fundamental things are laying in. And if you want to excel in the industry, you just need to become a master at these basics. And 5-star network, I was saying. When you find someone who is an ideal client avatar for you, just make sure to go through his entire profile, through his entire page, and literally squeeze every single lead like a lemon. Let's say I'm an appointment setting guy, or let's say I'm just an appointment setter. You can already imagine that I'm following a bunch of other sales reps, either closers or setters, right? And it's the same with business owners. Let's say you're a fitness coach or whatever, you're here, some random fitness coach, and you follow another fitness coach who is right here. Then that coach follows another one, and that another one follows another one, and that third coach can be linked back to you, right? And so on and on and on. So this is literally a 5-star network. It's literally like a web. And when you find one guy who is your ICP, just keep on squeezing them. And the thing is that you can repeat that whole process with every single one of these people that you reach out to. And when it comes to the opener, we already covered that one in the previous video. So if you still haven't, go watch that. It's called 100 plus calls for online coaching. There are some tick boxes that you need to make sure are ticked off in order to get the reply. But the most important thing is this conditional language, like we already established. Then, okay, you reach out to him. However, I would also like to point out that these gay softwares everyone is using nowadays are just shit, and I don't even know why the people use that. Because with those softwares, they're sending like thousands and thousands of different messages a day, to different pages, and the reply rate is like 5% or so. Why not rather just send 50 DMs like we're currently doing and book 5 calls a day? That's literally, so how much is that? So our reply rate is around 35%, meaning that, let's do the quick math right here so I don't do it inside my head. So 50 DMs, we get 30 to 35% reply rate. All right, that's 15, and out of 15 we book, let's say on the low end, when the day is not good, we book 3 to 5 calls. that day. So that's already like an insane rate, you know. And I'm not sure why all those softwares would just spam that outreach and waste the leads, because you know that geeky feature that IG now has introduced where you can only send one message, and that's like some sort of an invitation, and if the prospect doesn't accept your invitation, you can never send him message again. So instead of having that AI shitty thing in your DMs, let's just have a human doing it. And this is an exact timeline that me and my setters follow in order not to get action blocked. Because like I've established, like we all established already, IG is just, yeah, it's just gay, you know, and you simply can't rely on it 100%. So you need to make sure that every single step is dialed in order for you to maximize the process of obviously ultimately booking these 3 to 5 people in. So this is a timeline, right? We start with, so we obviously space it out in 15, 15, 15. 3 times 15 outreaches a day, that's 45 of course, and then we just do 2 to 3 in 2 takes somewhere throughout the day. But the most important thing is that you need to space it out for about 2.5 hours. A year ago, when I was doing an outreach for my B2C program, when I was just a coach, you know, I was doing 10 per hour, meaning that I was able to do at least 100. And IG is just slowly but surely decreasing their threshold of how many people you can outreach a day. So now I realized that even after taking care of spacing the messages out for like hour and a half, it's not enough. We got action blocked, and I came up with my own sort of a timeline. So 15 outreaches, let's say in the morning or throughout the day, and then wait at least 2.5 hours. Send another 15, wait 2.5 hours more, and then send another 15. And like I've said earlier, just 2-3 outreaches in 2 takes, that's already 5, you know, and that's 50 in total, right? 50 in total. Just a quick pointer for you, because a lot of people think that, yeah, that's something that they can neglect, but we've been there with one of my boys, Adam, you know, we've been there, he's constantly getting action blocked, and you know, when you get action blocked, the effect gets compounded, and at some point he wasn't able to send messages for like a week or so, which was, you know, so painful, because we didn't have any more leads to handle, considering that we only were running that cold outbound campaign. However, when it comes to you getting a reply, that's where this sort of a process starts. It's like, I would say it's a 7-step process, you know. Green flag qualifiers, yeah. What do I mean by green flag qualifiers? I don't literally mean that you need to qualify the person's or the prospect's income, like how much would you be able to invest. No, because that's a massive red flag, and that's exactly the opposite of what we're trying to preach here in green flag qualifiers. But the goal is actually really simple. It's just to start this qualifying process to determine if it's worth continuing the convo after receiving a reply. The key is to obviously ask, super important, few genuine questions first before moving on to more personal ones. That way we can avoid being ghosted, because realistically, when we're speaking with a stranger, the easiest thing that they can do is just scan our red flag and leave us on scene, seeing that we're obviously trying to sell them something. I mean, yeah, the truth is that we all know that we're reaching out to people for a reason, and that's ultimately money, but we can't make that obvious, because that would be too selfish, too self-centered, you get me? So when I say few genuine questions first, that can be literally anything, even outside the business. Oh, so how long have you been running your business for is an absolute red flag, so please stay away from that. And instead, like I've said, ask anything that you can think of that would just build that relationship. You know, because one of the most critical aspects of a lead qualification is the sequence of your questions. That's super important. Starting with overly personal, like I've said here, or financial questions can just immediately raise red flags and cause prospects to disengage, but instead use a strategic approach that gradually builds trust. Just talk to them like you would talk with one of your mates. Even though it's a B2B environment, let's say, still, the person on the other side of the screen is a human, and we can genuinely talk with them like we would talk with one of our friends. Obviously, if you're talking with like 50-year-old guy that's doing some contracting shit, then don't say bro, brother, lol, omg, whatever, because that just doesn't align with the vibes your prospect is putting. But make sure to just align with him fully, so you can kind of make him feel comfortable in your environment, which will ultimately make him open up more to you. And that's also another thing that you definitely need to consider. However, pro tip. All right, maybe you don't have a YouTube, maybe you don't have a VSL or free training, but giving free value or free resources to prospects who are not ready to proceed further, or just the prospects who are just strangers. That's also what I mean when I say like, wait, where was it? Starting with orally. Okay, strategic approach. That's exactly what I mean when I say strategic approach. Even free value, make your prospects realize that their thing is just another day in the office for you, So that's exactly what builds trust and puts you as an authority. And obviously, this approach can open the door for potential partnerships in the future, because I always like to think long term. Let's say you waste a lead. You right now waste a lead because you're trying to be too pushy. That means that you're literally never going to sell anything to that prospect. And I can guarantee that. I can honestly guarantee that. My right hand to God. So instead of just being pushy, you can give him some sort of free stuff, free value, and add him to the CRM. And then later you just have a connection. And remember those few tick boxes that we covered about know, right? It was know, like, and trust. That's exactly how you slowly but surely tick off those few boxes. Just make them know you, like you, and trust you. Because if you, let's say, tick off these two boxes and the third one is, they don't trust you at all, like I've said, you're never gonna sign that deal ever in your life, So that was the third step. The fourth step is something I call vision unmaskers, just so you can see the point a bit better. But it's all about uncovering your prospects' goals, visions, and desired outcomes. The key is to approach the convo with genuine curiosity and a light-hearted touch. That's the most important thing out of this sentence right here. Genuine curiosity and a light-hearted touch. Just think of it as a friendly chat, like I've said earlier, with one of your friends, rather than an interrogation. Your aim is obviously to create an atmosphere where your prospects feel comfortable sharing their aspirations without feeling like they're being put on the spot. So one funny thing is that when you talk with them, like you would talk with one of your friends, like I covered in the previous video where I showed you how to book 100 calls a month, it's all about the natural progression of the convo. Me and the guy were talking about 2025 and shit, and I was like, one of my main goals or one of my main objectives is simply to double down on YouTube, because I know how powerful that can be, And all of a sudden he said, oh shit, I'm also trying to hit 10k a month, not 10k a month, sorry. I'm also trying to hit some massive YouTube goals, 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and also I want to hire some full-time stuff, because when I hire some full-time stuff, I'll be able to double down on that YouTube grind more, and that was literally like the most perfect setup for me, since I'm all about training, placement, and managing setters. Oh yeah, by the way, don't get me wrong, these videos are meant, for you to just get to the point where we can potentially work together. That's one thing I wanted to point out. I'm never gonna sell you on any gay 15 grand coaching program. I don't even run a coaching program. So what I do is I train, place, and manage setters for 6 and 7 figure businesses. So these videos serve the purpose of showing you exactly how you can get to the level of 6 or 7 figures, so we can just start delegating the workload. By the way, everything is commission based, just so you know. Still no 15 grand type of shit, but yeah, enjoy the video. Another thing, like I've said, they don't want to be put on the spot. And with my example of that natural progression of the convo, that's exactly how you need to do it as well. And instead of rushing the process, I know the speed is the key to success, but like I've said earlier, instead of rushing the process and potentially wasting the lead, just think long term. And if you ask me, if we translate like having 4 hours of the convo with someone into 5 grand deal that you potentially can close, then that definitely pays off. Your hourly rate is like over 1k. Just a perspective, So just start by showing a sincere interest in their business or personal journey. When I say sincere interest, those are those are the things that you want to include in your sentences, such as just curious, what else? Genuinely curious, all about you being genuine. That's super important. Genuinely this, honestly that. Just make sure to add those, and obviously ask a question that actually makes sense. Please don't go on about asking questions. Okay, so now since it's 2025, what is it that you're trying to reach by the end of this year? Yeah, just fuck that, because only thing I can say is this. Red flag. An absolute red flag. It's not gonna take you anywhere, and I can almost guarantee that. Ask open-ended questions. That's another super important thing that allow you or them to express themselves freely. These questions invite them to share their passion and in turn reveal their goals organically. So what are even open-ended questions? Those are these things. Oh shit. So those are these things. Open-ended questions. Why, how, when, where, what. These sorts of questions make the prospect open up. And instead of being like, what do you think? Where do you think this will take you? When do you think it would be a suitable time for you? How do you think you'll be able to solve that? Why do you think this is important? You always want to put it into feelings. Like, I literally mean always. Just talk about the feelings, because making your prospects think instead of feel is triggering their how can I say it, logic, of course. And when it comes to people making buying decisions, they make those 90% based of their emotions and 10% with their logic. So why would you focus on logic if that doesn't take you anywhere? Just make sure that you make them think emotions based. That's super important. And why am I so much about why am I talking so much about these open-ended questions? Simply because I've seen my setters at the very beginning when they join, I've seen them being like, do you think this is for you or that's for you? That's never good, because it's literally like you're digging a grave for yourself. You don't want to make your prospects reply with dry responses. Do you think this is this or this is that? They can just reply yes or no, and that doesn't take you anywhere. You literally need to, after asking such a question, you would literally need to start digging certain infos out of them, which is not good. But when you make them, so this is some sort of a formula that I came up with. By the way, it's a bro science, but yeah, after all, I'm all about the setter science, so that's just my brand. Open-ended plus word feel plus X thing related to the topic. Let's say the YouTube thing that me and my guy talked about. What I would ask next would be, why do you feel that YouTube grind will benefit you long term? And then from there he's probably gonna be like, oh, when I post on YouTube, more and more people are seeing my long form content, and I think that ultimately can bring me to 50K a month, which is something I want to reach. And boom, all of a sudden I know his financial goal, not only his, how can I say it, input goal. He knows that if he puts, or if he focuses on those inputs, such as recording for YouTube consistently, the outcome is gonna be 50K a month. So that's just how I kind of came up, or why I even came up with this sort of a formula. And like I've said earlier, you want to make your prospects give you these super deep answers, because when they're giving those to you, they're gonna come to this realization sense. Something is just gonna click. Instead of you being there convincing them like, yo bro, get my setters because they will get you to your 50K a month goal. No, you just ask them, what do you feel you need in order to get there? The guy said YouTube, but in order to focus on his YouTube, he needs to delegate an entire sales process in the backend, so everything runs smoothly while he can just focus on these high leverage activities. Super simple. And then after asking those open-ended questions, there is another effective approach, and it's to share a bit your own experience or goals first. This just creates a sense of reciprocity and makes the convo feel more balanced. And that's exactly something that I'm constantly preaching with this free value thing as well. If you don't have a YouTube, if you don't have a VSL, any sort of free training, you can just be like, you know, I've actually been working on XYZ goal that resonates with your prospect. That's super, super important right here. Have you been focusing on any particular areas of growth in your business as well? And that's just how you become, aligned with their values. This opens the door for them to discuss their objectives without feeling pressured. Remember, the goal is to keep the convo flowing naturally. If you sense any hesitation, don't push, pivot the convo to related topics that might indirectly reveal their goals, such as, this is an example I put, I've noticed a lot of businesses in your industry are focusing on XYZ. Is that something that interests you too? And then you're at the finish line. Pain exposure. You just naturally realize what your prospects feel that they need to solve in order to get there, and what you just need to do is leverage that and book them in. Make sure to propose a no-brainer call proposal, such as, oh, you know what, I think I can actually give you a few pointers because your situation reminds me of Chris guy. He was actually going through the same thing, and then I hopped on a quick chat with him, gave him a few pointers, and he just went on about his day, about his life, and solved it. Would that be worth a quick chat to you? That's it. Make a no-brainer proposal, because what do I mean even by no-brainer? I literally mean that they need to see the value in your call. They don't want to be sold to. They just need to see the value. So the main takeaways in order to get there is obviously listen actively, show empathy, don't interrogate. There is an ACA formula. I'm not sure if we covered that one, but ACA formula stands for acknowledge, compliment, ask. That's how you make them feel. That's how you may avoid making them feel pressured, and then let the convo unfold organically, like you would talk with one of your mates. And also a few things to consider as well is dragging the convo for too long. I know I said that we need to take our time, but dragging the convo for too long and stepping outside of that zone where you're actually talking about the business and you started talking about him living a life in Thailand, whatever. Oh, how's the weather there? Yeah, shit, that makes you lose the lead and waste your time for nothing pretty much. And what happens usually? From you replying, from you guys having a convo between like 5 minutes between each reply, you get to 2 hours, then 5 hours, 10 hours, a day between the replies, and ultimately you're gonna get left undelivered because, that's literally something that's closely connected to this other thing that I wanted to show you to consider, and that's just being too friendly. You literally just got friend zoned. I know people buy from people they know, like, and trust, but you just got friend zoned and you wasted your time. So all in all, make sure that you consider all of these things, not just these two at the end, but all of these, because that's exactly the strategy I'm about to continue to use in 2025, because if it works, why would I fix it, right? Don't fix something that don't require fixing. So all in all, get the reply, make your prospect feel like he's just in a comfortable environment, see the interest, let the convo unfold organically, make a no-brainer call proposal, and do your magic on the sales call. Thanks for watching, and if you like the video, I appreciate the subscribe. If not, you can just leave this video, but still, thanks for watching. Let me know on my IG if there's anything else you'd want me to cover, because that aligns with my goal for 2025, which is to double down on YouTube and help you boys even more. So later down the line, we can just start working and delegate the workload, boys. Cheers, and see you in the next video. Keep smashing it.